Get in here. Come on, get in here. There's always a delay on Facebook Live. Get in here. I got to open up my drink. I'm waiting for you. Come on, it's Tuesday night. It's a great day. Get in here. Come on, people, get in here. We need you. Waiting for you here. Sitting in my kitchen with a whiteboard beside me. And just excited to be with you. So come on in. Get in here. Grab a drink. As always, want to run through what we're doing tonight. Our schedule is always the same until it's not. But at 8 o'clock, we open up. 8:01, we grab a drink. We cheers to each other. And then we get started at 8:02, which is a ton of fun. And then at 8:10, we actually try out our activity for the night. So the goal of Strengthen Your Soul is to actually experience in a real way this thing that Jesus promised. He said, if you follow me, if you learn from me, you'll actually have peace for your soul. And so we're aiming at that. That's what we're going for. So get in here, grab a drink. Excited to be with you. Tonight, I am having a Diet Pepsi Lime. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Some of you are thinking this. Kyle, that stuff will kill you. To which I say, I hope not. And do you realize what's going on in the world? I'm going to enjoy my Diet Pepsi Lime. It's amazing. Anyways, grab a drink and let's have a sip together. So here we go. Cheers. So let's talk about your soul. One of the most common human experiences in life is this. Someone or something that you once loved, you have this moment where there's like a chilling effect on your soul. There's a chilling effect on your soul. And part of what spurred my mind towards this today is in Calgary, where I am, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. It just keeps snowing. Like we're in April. It's supposed to be on average like 10 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Instead, it's like always like -5. So it's like 25 degrees Fahrenheit. It's cold. It's miserable. It's sad. And here's an interesting human phenomena, both for people inside of a faith tradition and outside. That although we know we're supposed to be people of love, our heart grows cold. And so what do we do? What do we do when your heart grows cold? I want to give you a few examples of where this can happen. Then we're going to talk about what do you do about it, and then we're going to go, who do we need to do it towards? Who do we need to show love towards? So that'll be our try portion. So for some of you, this is going to fix like friendships. For some of you, this is going to fix relationships. If you lean in and if you go, I'll follow your lead, Jesus. I'll try what you say. This will fix relationships with your parents. This will fix, and hear me, at about the age of 25, oh no, my video's gone down. Could some of you, I think I'm still live. Please let me know if I'm still live. Facebook on my end is having trouble and it's delayed, so I think I'm still good. Let me get back to what I was saying. Hear me though. If you are 25 or older, there will come a day where you need to make peace with your parents, where you need to make peace with them. So I think I'm still live. If one of you could comment, that would be hugely helpful. I think I am still live, but Facebook's cut out on my end, so I can't see if I'm still live. So, and some of you, you're in relationships with a partner. Thank you very much, Lindsay. Good on your side. It's great to know we're still going. If you learn how to get over your heart growing cold, it could save a marriage. It could save a partnership with somebody that you love dearly. So, what do you do when your heart grows cold? I'll give you a couple of thoughts. One is this, and I'm going to open up some notes because I actually made some notes because this one's really, really important. I want you to imagine this, that The state of loving people who are close and near and dear to your heart, and people in general. So there's two categories, near and dear, which rhymes so it's easy to remember. And then there's general people. Both of these are like dashboards. You know, in a car, you get a dashboard and you have check engine lights. Trevor Demerit's good to see you too. What's up, buddy? You're an amazing, amazing musician. I miss you, man. But there are those who are near and dear to your life, and there are those people in general. Sometimes we look at categories of people. There are the poor, and oftentimes what can happen to people is their heart grows cold towards the poor, or the rich. A lot of people in our world don't love the rich. They actually hate the rich. What you need to know is this: according to the teachings of Jesus, according to God's thinking, your heart has gone cold when you find that your love for people in general, or people you don't know, strangers, when your stranger love diminishes, it is a warning light on the health of your soul. Even more so with those who are near and dear to you. When your heart grows cold towards them, it is like a check engine light. So, in general, your stranger love, I'm going to write that down because it's actually helpful. When your stranger love drops, in some ways it's like you have warning lights that don't matter so much. So I'm getting out into the deep end of car knowledge. I don't have much. But when your stranger love drops, often this can happen simply because you're tired, you've been working too hard. It is a warning light on the dashboard of your soul to go, what is going on? Why is my stranger love diminished? But more than that, when those who are near and dear to you, when your love for them diminishes, it is a warning sign that something is wrong. And there are typically three aspects that can contribute to this warning light. So I'm going to erase some of this and just make some space. Some of you might be wondering, Kyle, where's your eraser? And I've forgotten it at the office where I sometimes do these. So that's where that is. I want to give you three warning signs that your heart has grown cold, and what do you do about it? So number one is this, especially with those who are near and dear. It's bitterness. It's bitterness. The amount of relationships that die over hurt that's unresolved is unbelievable and tragic. It's unbelievable and it's tragic. I really want to talk about parents tonight. I can't. So I'm going to put a note here because there's something so important about how to reconcile your relationship with your parents that is so unbelievably helpful. We can't talk about it tonight. But bitterness. Bitterness is this. You've been hurt. And a friend of mine, a guy named Rob Reimer, is an author, writes excellent books. I'll probably feature one of his books at the beginning of one of these. But he writes that often when you are hurt, it's like you get a sliver in your soul. And when you have a sliver, if somebody bumps the sliver, you react much larger than the bump should cause. So when somebody who's hurt you and you haven't forgiven them, if they hurt you again in just a small way, you find yourself immediately more angry than you ought to be. So when your level of anger or hurt does not match the offense, it is a clear sign that you're carrying bitterness. So often our hearts can grow cold towards our spouse or our children or our parents or our friends. So that's a sign. So the key here is to forgive. Number two, when your heart grows cold, is this. There's actually this concept that one of the things that can kill the fire, the passion, the love, the connection, the care, the strength, the courage of your soul is actually just simply this. It's unhealthy habits. In church world, and I recognize many of you who watch these, you're not in church world. That's okay. Thrilled you're here. In fact, one of the things that Jesus was criticized about was this. He didn't hang out with religious folk enough. In fact, he was just friends with people who didn't fit in. So, unhealthy habits. Unhealthy habits actually can cause your love to grow cold. So what do you do with that? And here's the question. Often unhealthy habits cause your love to just shrink. So here's a question for reflection. What do you need to stop doing right now in your life? What is killing you? And again, I encourage you to think and pray at precisely the same time, and even ask God and go, what unhealthy habit is killing my love? So you cut it out of your life. Now some people go, how do you do that? The number one simple key is this to opening up the door to freedom, is you must ask for help. From God, from Jesus, from the universe. Again, when I say the universe, I always explain this. Some of you, you're not comfortable with language about Jesus yet. That's okay. But when you say the universe or life, I often believe it's people reaching out for God just with less knowledge. So, you have unhealthy habits. You cut it out, but you go, what is killing your soul? What's killing your love? And then number 3, this one is interesting. Loving those who love you. And you might say, only loving those who love you. Trevor says, I seem to have developed an accent since like 10 years ago. This is an old friend of mine, and I appreciate the encouragement on my speaking. I don't think I've developed an accent, but maybe I have. I'm living now in Calgary. Maybe I've been here longer. Maybe I have developed an accent. But here's the big idea. The last thing that makes your heart grow cold is only loving those who love you. See, one of the things that you need to understand about God, and therefore life itself, is this: God is one who loves people before they love him. This is the whole message of Jesus, that actually even now as you listen, you need to know this, you must know this, that there is a God who made you and who loves you before you loved him. And therefore, if you are going to align with the reality of life itself, you must love people before they love you. So, I'll give you a real life example. My wife and I have been married now super happily married for like almost 11 years. And my wife and I are actually pondering doing a series on how to have strong relationships, whether you're married or dating or long-term committed, common law, etc. When my wife and I, there are times where I can just be grumpy towards my wife. I can be, one of the things that I can be is I can have actually a very hardened heart. Lots of people know that about me. I can just be tough and not very emotionally connected. And what happens sometimes, that hurts my wife, and sometimes I will hurt her. And we made a rule very early on that when you least feel like loving, that's when you must show the most love. So, you show the most love when you don't feel it. When you show the most love when you don't feel it, here's what happens. Your heart softens. Your heart comes alive. It costs the most. It has the greatest amount of risk. It has the greatest amount of sacrifice, but it can help the absolute most. So, we're going to do our try part now. We're a touch late because we had some technical difficulties. I apologize for that, but I'm not that sorry. It's going to be two extra minutes. So what do you do when your heart grows cold? We're just going to walk through this. I was going to erase it, but I think it's helpful. So here's questions for reflection. I want you to be thinking and praying as best you know how. Praying is simply going like this: God, I'd love to have some thoughts in my mind from you. Would you speak to me? Is there anyone in your life that your heart is cold to, that you need to forgive? So just ask, is there anyone you need to forgive? If there's no one you need to forgive, no one who's hurt you that you're still carrying offense with, there's no one like that, it's okay. It's okay, there's no pressure here. But is there anyone you need to forgive? Because your heart has grown hard towards them. I have one. Again, I'm going to, for anonymity's sake, I can't use their name. I have a long-term friend. If you need extra help on forgiveness, which a lot of people do, I put out a video a couple weeks ago. I'm on YouTube. You can check me out there. It's way easier to search through past videos. It's on forgiveness, forgiving your worst enemy. Super helpful for people, change people's lives. Number 2, question for reflection. Do you have an unhealthy habit that's killing your ability to love people? Right now, for me, I've addressed those regularly. So there's nothing that's coming to mind for me. But if there is, you ask for help. And number 3, here's the question for reflection. God, who could I show love to that hasn't had to earn it? Who could I love before they love me? Who could I love before they love me? I got a simple one here. For me, it's actually my sister. She's very loving towards me, but I just feel prompted to do that. So as soon as I wrap up here, I'm going to send her a message. So with all that being said, when your heart grows cold, it's a warning sign that something's wrong. It could be bitterness, it could be an unhealthy habit, or it could be not loving first. So with all that being said, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And I hope your soul's getting strong. I hope in the midst of this crisis, you're experiencing more peace, more joy, and more hope. With all that being said, we'll see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Strengthen your soul. Have a good night. Struggling to stop.